Imagine a battlefield before the battle exists. No clash of steel, no shouting, only silence and the unbearable weight of what might unfold. In that silence, Sun Tzu begins. Not with violence, not with glory, but with awareness. He invites us to consider a radical possibility, that the greatest battles are already decided long before the first strike is made, that victory and defeat are born not in action, but in perception, in how clearly one sees the conditions shaping the moment. Morale, leadership, terrain, timing, intention, none of these are separate forces. They interlock, forming a living system. To misunderstand that system is to walk blindly into disaster. To understand it is already to reduce the need for bloodshed. Because for Sun Tzu, war is not chaos. It is one of the most consequential human activities precisely because it demands judgment. Entire societies rise or collapse based on how leaders read reality. Planning, then, becomes more than preparation. It becomes a moral responsibility. When decisions are made carelessly, lives are consumed unnecessarily. When they are made wisely, conflict itself begins to dissolve. Clarity protects life before force ever threatens it. This sensitivity to cost leads Sun Tzu to a sobering insight. Prolonged conflict corrodes everything it touches. Armies drain treasuries, fracture morale, and hollow out the very purpose they claim to serve. Victory loses its meaning when it consumes the future it was meant to secure. This is why speed and decisiveness are not merely tactical preferences. They are ethical imperatives. Conflict that lingers becomes indistinguishable from failure, even when banners are raised in triumph. Power that cannot end struggle only multiplies it. From here, Sun Tzu introduces his most unsettling idea. The highest form of warfare does not involve fighting at all. True mastery lies in dismantling resistance before violence becomes necessary, undermining strategy, dissolving alliances, weakening morale, reshaping perception. Bloodshed, in this view, is not evidence of strength, but of miscalculation. It signals that understanding arrived too late. Victory, redefined, is no longer domination. It is inevitability. The enemy yields not because they are crushed, but because resistance no longer makes sense. This reframes the battlefield entirely. Conflict shifts inward, toward anticipation and intelligence. Power becomes quiet, nearly invisible. It operates before it is recognized. And in this silence, strength takes on a new meaning. Strength is no longer something possessed. It is something positioned. An army does not win because it is powerful. It becomes powerful because it stands where power naturally accumulates. Defense is not weakness, it is concealment. Offense is not aggression, it is timing. The wise commander appears weak while strong, and strong while weak, dissolving the enemy's capacity to respond coherently. What emerges is a deeper truth. Power that announces itself invites resistance. Power that conceals itself reshapes reality without confrontation. Like water flowing downhill, strategic force gathers momentum quietly. Victory arrives not through constant exertion, but through alignment. The moment matters more than the motion. When conditions are ripe, action feels effortless, not because it is easy, but because it is inevitable. Sun Tzu's attention then turns toward fragility. Every structure, no matter how formidable, contains weakness. Strength breeds rigidity. Rigidity breeds blindness. To strike where the enemy is weak is not cruelty, it is intelligence. To avoid where they are strong is not cowardice, it is clarity. Conflict punishes ego more severely than hesitation, and this lesson stretches far beyond war. Whenever we attack obstacles head-on without understanding their structure, we exhaust ourselves against walls that were never meant to be climbed. As forces move, complexity deepens. Certainty dissolves, communication fractures, intentions blur. Sun Tzu warns that confusion spreads faster than weapons. Panic multiplies destruction. The greatest threat in conflict is not the enemy's strength, but one's own loss of composure. Leadership reveals itself here, not through force, but through steadiness. The impulsive commander surrenders control before the enemy ever acts. Adaptation becomes the next test. No strategy survives unchanged when exposed to reality. What secured victory yesterday can invite collapse today. Sun Tzu rejects rigid formulas. He insists that wisdom lives in responsiveness. Circumstances mutate. Conditions shift. Only sensitivity to change preserves clarity. This is not uncertainty, it is discipline. Knowledge that refuses to bend shatters under pressure. As armies advance, the world begins to speak in subtleties. Morale, silence, rhythm, behavior. These signals reveal more than proclamations ever could. Sun Tzu teaches how to read what cannot be measured. Understanding becomes embodied. Knowledge breathes. Perception sharpens into intuition through attentiveness, and the invisible begins to guide action more reliably than force. Terrain itself becomes a teacher. High ground, narrow passes, open plains, each demands a different mode of being. But terrain is not only geographical. Psychological landscapes shape outcomes just as decisively. Fear, confidence, loyalty, despair, these form invisible topographies that determine victory before movement begins. Those who misjudge terrain, external or internal, march confidently toward collapse. Pressure intensifies, options narrow, retreat disappears, and something unexpected happens. Constraint sharpens resolve. When hesitation loses its refuge, essence surfaces. Sun Tzu recognizes that extremity reveals character, limitation clarifies intention, boundaries awaken focus. The paradox emerges. Freedom of action is born from acceptance of necessity. Yet even in moments of devastation, restraint remains essential. Destruction unleashed without foresight rebounds upon its wielder. Power divorced from judgment corrodes legitimacy. Sun Tzu insists that force must always remain subordinate to purpose. The aim is not annihilation, but restoration of order. Without this, victory collapses into chaos. At the heart of everything lies information. To know before acting is to avoid catastrophe. Ignorance is the most expensive mistake a leader can make. Knowledge precedes force, or force multiplies suffering blindly. When understanding guides action, violence diminishes. When ignorance governs, brutality expands without limit. And so the silence before battle returns. The same silence where this journey began. What if the greatest battles truly are decided before they begin? What if strength has always been secondary to understanding? Sun Tzu's answer unfolds gently but firmly. Conflict may be inevitable, but destruction is not. Power belongs not to the strongest hand, but to the clearest mind. Victory does not require domination. It requires alignment with reality. The deepest lesson of the art of war is not how to defeat others, but how to avoid becoming blind under pressure. It teaches restraint, attentiveness, adaptability, humility before complexity. Perhaps this is why the text endures. Weapons evolve. Technologies shift. But the human struggle to act wisely under tension remains unchanged. And so, the question turns inward. Where in life are you fighting when perception would be enough? Where has force replaced understanding? Where has impatience drowned clarity? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you want to continue exploring ideas that don't just explain the world, but transform how it feels to live within it, subscribe and walk with us again into philosophy's deeper questions. Because the battle, in truth, begins long before anyone raises a hand.